Hey guys, it's Cuberstash, and today I'm going to be doing some Chris Olsen style walkthrough solves. If you don't get that reference, check the description for a link. There's a video that Chris Olsen posted a while back that explains this type of walkthrough solve. But basically, I just do an average of 5 and then reconstruct the solves and explain them to you, which gives a better representation of what I actually do in a speed solve than a normal walkthrough solve where I'm doing slow turning and can find things that I wouldn't normally find in a speed solve. So with that, here's the first solve. So the first thing you might notice about this solve is that the cube in the video has black instead of yellow, and yeah, I did change yellow to black on my main 3x3, just trying out the new color scheme for better contrast. But for these walkthroughs I will be using a cube with yellow, just for the benefit of my viewers. Alright, so here's the first scramble. This solution was the most inefficient at 62 moves, slice turn metric, but it was really only the F2L step that was bad. So let's get started. So to start off this solve, I saw these white and red corners that are one move away from being solved. So during inspection, I just imagined these corners being an F prime away from where they are, but to show this more easily, I'll just do this move. So 5 and 6 are in 2 and 6 here. So this is the arrowhead circlet, and with 5 being in 6, it would go this way. So here's number 4, so the next two after that are 1 and 3. So that means I can swap these two, or these two, or these two, and I chose these two because they're already on the U layer. So the way I executed this was from this angle, R prime, U prime, to set these to here, and then R prime U prime R to solve the CP. And then I also planned this edge right here, so I did Y R prime S2 prime, and there's the CP line. So then I looked for the rest of the first block pieces, so I have the center already connected with an edge over here, and the last edge here. So what I did was I did U prime to kind of preserve this edge, then R wide 2 to bring these over and set them up like that. And then I connected this and put it all in place with U wide prime, R U wide prime. And then during that, I'm looking at the top. So I see that I have a correct center on the top. And I have, so that means I'm looking for a good edge to put into DB. So I see this one already. So then I just go straight into putting that one in like that. And now after a bit of a pause for EO recognition, I see that I have bad edges here, 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 and here. So I can set those up to a staircase with just an R2. And then I solved the EO by doing R wide U prime, R wide prime. And actually in this case it would have been better to do R wide U, R wide prime, since that connects this edge to the center. And this one's already here, but I didn't notice that. I just did R wide U prime, R wide prime, and then basically undid that to attach this edge. And then U2, R2 to finish, R wide 2 to finish off the stripe like that. So this is where the solve was kind of bad. I saw this cross edge. It would have been probably better to do like this pair or this pair, but I put in the cross edge and then preserved this pair like that, and then I solved that pair like that. And then for this pair, I put the edge there and solved it like that. So that was a lot of moves, but oh well. And this 2GLL goes like this. And that was the first solve, a 19.73 with 62 moves. Alright, so this solve was a 17.81 with 46 moves, slice turn metric. So this was a more average move count, and I had some pretty fast turning that gave it a nice time. So for this solve, I saw again the red and white corners, and these are solved in one move, this time in F2. So again, I just traced imagining this F2, but I'll do it so that you guys can see it more easily. So this is a trivial case as far as the tracing goes. These 5 and 6 are already friends, they're just swapped. So we trace counterclockwise along the top. So here's 4, and the next two are 3 and 1. So I can swap these two, or these two. And I chose these two because they're already in the top, and I can also cancel into it while inserting this. And then the edge is back here, not the best spot, but I can deal with it. So to solve this EP, I did it from this angle, RU prime R. And then I rotated, brought this into the top layer, or I did it this way, R2, and then U, S prime to put that in. And there's the CP line. Now I have a pretty nice case here for extending the block. So I just brought everything over onto the right, then corrected the edges like that, and inserted it like that. And again, while I'm doing this, I'm looking at the centers here, so I have a good center on top. So I'm looking for good edges. There actually aren't any before I do the R, but fortunately the R brought this one up. So then I put that one into DB like that. Then here I have 6 bad edges, but the good ones are here and here. So I put those into this position. That's how you want to solve 6 bad edges. And then I did this algorithm to solve that. And then for the last moves I did U prime to attach this, and then R prime to put the right center on top. And then I did U, R, U prime, RY2 to finish off that. And then that also gave me a nice pair here. So to start the F12, I did U2, RU, R, and that's our square. And then this last pair, just did it like that. And then, very luckily, I got soon as the 2GLL. So that's mostly what made this solve so fast. Quite a nice 2GLL, and pretty average everything else. So, on to the next solve. Alright, so that solve was the worst solve of the average, a 20.68. This one was 54 moves, slice turn metric, and mainly what made the solve slow was the pause for EO, but we'll get to that. So this is a pretty good scramble for basically any method other than YruRU because of this nice block here. So I can at least take advantage of the corner being connected to the edge and do a CP line down here. So here's the last corner. I'll use the swapping trick for this one since it's 2 moves away. So if I swap these, then we have a trivial case with 5 and 6 being here. If we were to do a U move, they would be in that friends position, and we would have to trace this way. So here's 4. So the next two are 1 and 3. So we can swap these two, or these two, and then we have to choose these two because we have to swap with this one. So I did R2 U prime to set up the swap pair to UBR and this piece so it can be solved with F2 prime, like that. And then I went on to do the extension. So the orange center is back here, and then the 2 edges are next to it. So what I did was I connected this one, brought this one into the U layer, brought everything over to the R layer, and then at this point I see that I have, again, a correct center on top. So I'll be looking for a good edge to put into DB. So I did, as I'm pairing these up, I see this good edge. So I just do RY2 to put that in. And then for some reason it took me a really long time to recognize the EO. I did like U prime, R prime, R2, U2 prime. But eventually I found the 2 good edges and put them over here. And then I solved it like this. And again, I should have done a U here. I should have done R wide U, R prime to finish it off, because that would connect this. But I didn't. I did U prime, R wide prime. So then I connected this one first, moved it to the back so that I can connect this one opposite to it, and then I put these in. And it turned out that wasn't too bad because I got this nice square here. So to start F2L, I did this, like that, and then I preserved this split pair like that, and inserted it there. And then this is actually the mirror of the 2 GLL case that I got on the first solve, so this one goes like this. Alright, here's the 4th solve. Alright, so that's the 4th solve. That was a 16.60, 56 slice turns. And this solve was mainly fast because of the easy CP line that let me inspect into the first block. And also it was the most efficient to getting to the 2-gen state. So a larger percentage of the moves for this solve were 2-gen moves. So again, I found white-red corners being 1 move away. So I did that move in my head. So that leaves 5 and 6 and 2 and 4. This is the letter V circlet. And with 5 being here, we would go this way. So here's number 4, and the next 2 are 1, 2. So CP is actually solved. All we need to do is place the edge, and it's already right here. So this is actually a 2-move CP line. I did it from this angle. u prime, uy prime. And then because that was so easy, I was able to see these first block pieces and get ready to solve those. So I did u prime, uy prime, x prime, and then I did this edge, so I did RU to put that in place. And then this one stuck over here, which is generally pretty bad, but it worked out reasonably well in this case. So to pair these up, I did UI2 RU, or UI'd R prime, UI'd prime, to finish the first block like that. And then during that, I noticed that I have incorrect centers on top. So I want to look for a bad edge to put into DB, and I chose this one, so I did U R wide. And now again we have 6 bad edges, and again it took me a little while to recognize, but I have good here and good here. So setting those up to this position again, and then I did this like that. And this time it didn't matter which way I did the U move, it doesn't affect these. So then I paired those up like that and put those in. Now there's a lot of blocks here. You could probably do something interesting if you were doing FMC, but what I saw was this cross edge here and this pair. So I canceled into that pair like that, making a split pair. Inserted it, saw this pair, canceled into that. And this is a pretty nice 2GLL that goes like this. And that's that solved, so here's the last one. Alright, so that solve was a 15.14, 47 slice turns. So this was the best solve of the average, and the average ended up being 18.05, which is only 0.12 off of my PB average of 5 of 17.93. So this was a pretty good average for me, and getting the best solve on the last solve, getting that best possible average always feels good. So for this one, I did the white and orange corners. They're 2 moves away, so I did the mental swapping. And I have the pieces in 6 and 1. So this is the inverted letter N, the inverted letter N circlet. So going, and this 6 being in 6 means we would go this way. So we would get 3, 1, since we're swapping these two. So 3, 1 means I can swap these two, or these two, or these two. And I have to do these two because I have to find the swap pair for this. So I can do that with R prime U F. And I didn't like where that put this edge. So I actually did this edge first. I'm not really sure if that was better or not, but either way I did U2 prime, S prime, U2 prime. And then doing these with R prime U to set up the swap pair into UBR, and this one to be solved with F. And now for the extension, I've got the center over here, one edge here, and one edge here. So this isn't a great case, but I can connect these like this. And then for this one, I did R prime U prime, R wide prime, R2 U prime. There's probably a better way to do that. That was a lot of moves, but that's what I did. And then I have them all lined up, so I can put them in with R prime U wide 2. But before I do that, I see that I have a wrong center on top, so I want a bad edge to go into DB. And I see that I already have one right here, so I can just throw that one in like that. And now I only have two bad edges, this one and this one. So I can solve that like this, doing a U move instead of U prime to pair these up, actually doing that correctly this time. Then R wide to put this center on top, connecting this one, and putting those in place. And I also noticed that this cross edge was already in place, so I'm just looking for pairs. And I see this one, so I can solve that like that. And then this one. And then a very nice anti-soon to GLL. So that's the last solve. And thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.